Hello, I'm Jeremy Gray for IUHoosiers.com. It's Big Ten Media Day, so let's talk to members of the media. We talked to Big Ten Network's Jimmy Jackson, as well as the voice of the Hoosiers, Don Fischer, on what to expect out of this season. Jimmy, thoughts on the Big Ten this year? Obviously, Ohio State's the favorite, but a lot of programs really trying to make a move. Indiana part of that mix.
Yeah, Indiana is. And what you got to look at with the league, last year we had a lot of seniors that dominated, Illinois, Purdue, Ohio State, Wisconsin. A lot of these teams have seniors. This year, I think a lot of the teams are dealing with the same aspect. You got a lot of young freshmen coming in that you have to that you teach. Sophomores that have played well now have to kind of take that next step. So a lot of teams are in the same boat. Ohio State kind of stands out as a team to watch, but once you get past Ohio State, you can pick and choose who slides in second, third, fourth, or fifth.
Looking at what Tom Crean's trying to build at Indiana, taking over a very difficult situation, heading into year 4 here, what are your thoughts on the Hoosiers?
Well, now's the time because he got a chance to integrate his system, get the kind of players that he wanted in. Cody Zeller, of course, was the big-time recruit that he was kind of looking for to anchor the ship, so to speak. So now Tom has some guys, Verdell, that have been there for a little bit, Watford that been there a little bit, sprinkle in some freshmen that can play. This team can be competitive, and I think that's something that he's preaching, that we're always going to play hard, we're always going to be in the game, but now we got to start to win those games.
Thoughts on playing Big Ten basketball in the early 90s. Calvert Chaney back on the staff here for Indiana. Those were some true battle. Everybody talks Indiana and Purdue back in the day, but Indiana-Ohio State, it was back and forth. It was tough, very physical game.
Well, you're making me sound old. That's what I think about now that I'm old when you're talking about back in the 90s. But it was a great time for Big Ten basketball because there was a lot of parity in the league, a lot of great teams. You had great players who were All-Americans. You had teams that were nationally ranked, that were going deep in the tournament. So that made the competitive nature of each game very good. And I truly believe we're starting to get back to that where teams 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 are still competitive and will give you a run for your money. It's just not the top 2 or 3.
Don, you've had a chance to see some practices, and you get a vibe from this team that they're ready to turn a corner.
Well, I've said really when Cody Zeller said that he was signing to play at Indiana that I thought that this team was about ready to take the turn, and I really believe it's going to happen this year. I don't know what that means in terms of wins and losses because I don't predict. If I did, I'd be broke. But the fact of the matter is I do believe that this team is ready to make a transition and a statement. This could be a statement type year in the sense that they are now competitive again, able to compete with virtually everybody they play with, and then start winning some of these games that they've been so close over the last couple of years and haven't been able to come up with a finish. So I really believe this team's ready to take that turn. And
this is a team that's got many parts that can contribute. Guys like Jordan Hulls getting stronger, better defensively to match his offensive game. Right. Will Sheehy and Victor Oladipo, you can tell, have changed their bodies to be better for the wear and tear in the Big Ten. Watford now will have to bear less of the scoring load with Cody there.
Right, and I think the real key to this team being better this year, and I think Coach has mentioned it a couple times, is how much effort they put in on the defensive end of the floor. Because if Indiana could have gotten a few stops last year in critical times, late in ball games, they could have won some of those contests. It wasn't that they couldn't score, they didn't have the ability to score. Of course, injuries took some of that ability away from them at times, but really in close ball games last year, it wasn't the offense that was the problem, it was the defense. So if they can make that transition at the defensive end, I think that really gives them a leg up on what they haven't had here in the last 2-3 years.
Nothing beats experience. Even though Jordan Hulls, Christian Watford are only going to be juniors, by the time the Big Ten season rolls around, they'll be starting their 75th game in Division I.
Well, the other thing that makes you a better team just from an experience standpoint is to have juniors and seniors on your team. We didn't have that 2 or 3 years ago. So you finally have some experience and some guys that understand what the coach wants and they can coach on the floor at the same time. And I just think anytime you have juniors and seniors, you've got a chance to win and be a much better basketball team than you were previously.